Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com.
Usually I use 4, but my other worker, he's kind of a part-timer, older fella. This mare here, I raised her since she was a baby. Come. She's not. Everybody asks me that. She's just fat.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, and I breed her. She had a colt, so I didn't breed her with him last year. I used a different stud because I bought him last year, so I'll breed her this year to him. But yeah, she's just fat.
Okay.
So yeah.
These calves in here, is this for driving tree?
That is actually for the cart that's up there. Yeah, and it's for driving 3.
Nice.
Yep.
That's pretty nice.
Actually, where I got that from was Julian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I seen him. He had got the idea from him and messaged him and asked him for his measurements. And he gave them to me or whatever.
He's a good guy.
Because actually, because I seen him use it on his, I think he had it on a cart to pull his little grapple wagon deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's kind of handy.
Yeah.
So that's who I got the idea from. So that and I want to do a setup on that taller cart like this, but I haven't got it done yet. But that cart there is heavy enough that I hook my grapple wagon, I skid logs with it, and I hook the grapple wagon to it at the same time.
Oh, nice.
I just unhook it. I started doing this in Missouri. I actually grew up in Clark, Missouri, with the Amish. I always grew up around sawmills and all that. I logged with horses then. But then when I got away from them, I poured concrete for a living. And then when we moved up here 6 years ago, I just decided I wanted to horse log full time.
Okay.
So I decided to give it a shot.
So you log with horses for a living?
Full time.
And you're making a go of it?
Yeah, been doing it 6 years. Yep.
You realize that's kind of rare?
Yeah, it is. I'm actually about the only guy in Michigan so far that's sticking with it. There was 2 other guys a few years back that did it, but they claim it's too slow. They don't make enough money.
Right.
So
you're doing, this job is mostly popple.
Up. Popple.
And so it's going to paper mill?
Nope, pallet mill.
Okay.
Yep, pallet stock.
How far away?
Farwell.
Okay.
So 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Do they bring a truck down here? How do they get the logs to the?
I got my own truck.
You do? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So you bring a truck down here.
Yep. You know, when I first started this, I hired it out, and guys come in with their trucks and hauled it. But you know, that gets a little expensive.
Right.
At the end of the year, when you look at it and see how much you actually pay another guy to truck your logs, it's like you might as well just buy your own little truck and be done with it. So that's what I did.
You got more control too.
You got more control. You know, being a horse logger, like I said, it's slower. So I wasn't the high man on the pole. So I would wait longer for them to come in and haul my logs. There was one time 2 years ago, I waited like 3 months for them to come on a job and haul my logs for me. And I was like, that's not working. So.
Do you end up hauling logs for other folks? People that know you got a truck?
Yeah, friends, but I try not to. Yeah, it's an older truck, so I don't want it to break down. I'm not rich, so.
So it's not pulled by that.
No.
By that truck.
No, it's a
truck.
It's a 1988 GMC General.
Okay.
So it's a 4-axle, well 5-axle, including the steers. It's a 23-foot bed. And it's got a pup behind it. Here in Michigan, the more axles, the better. So they like big trucks up here. I know when I come up here from Missouri and first started logging up here, I called a guy and told him I had a load ready. And when he pulled in here, he laughed at me because Missouri's totally different. I had a Missouri load ready, not a Michigan load. So yeah, so I decided I had to drag more logs out because they haul lots of, well, up here I even had to learn they do it by the cord. And in Missouri they do everything by the foot, you know.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I had to drag out a few more logs. When he pulled in there, I was like, man, that's an awful big truck, so, yeah.
So that truck that you have, does it have a grapple on it?
It does,
Side loader?
yep.
Okay.
It's rear load.
Okay.
That way when you put the pup on, you can load the pup in your truck, so,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
If you enjoy seeing how our ancestors lived during America's rule yesterday, you're going to love looking at these books. Volume 1 is fieldwork showing horses and vintage tractors preparing seed beds, planting, cultivating, and harvesting the crop. Volume 2 shows the work being done in the barn and farmyard, feeding and watering the livestock, getting the crop into the barn, milking the cows, shearing the sheep, and collecting the eggs. In Volume 3, we go inside the home to see the family in the kitchen canning vegetables, in the parlor listening to the radio, and in the dining room for family supper. We also head into town to shop at the general store or visit on the town square on Saturday night. Each book has over 140 large format pages. They sell for $24.95 each, or you can buy 2 for $44.95, or all 3 for $54.95 plus shipping. Call 1-877-647-2452 to order. That's 1-877-647-2452.
This job is popple.
Yep.
What other kind of wood do you put up? All kinds?
All kinds. Up here in Michigan, you got a lot of maple, soft maple, hard maple, white oak, red oak, then what they call black oak, and white pine. I do quite a bit of white pine too. I got a buddy that actually buys that to do storage sheds. They saw it up, rough cut, and build storage sheds out of it. So yeah, that's what a lot of Michigan has anyway.
So you sell to a lot of different kinds of
Mills.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of Amish, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And like everywhere, the Amish families keep growing up and they keep looking for ways to make a living, and so there's a lot of woodworking that gets done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
A lot of Amish don't farm anymore. They run businesses
Well,
or work at businesses.
You almost have to.
Right.
Yeah, these small scale farms are almost gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Land is expensive.
Land's
or
expensive.
Dairy doesn't work.
Dairy don't
anymore.
work anymore. The price of milk went way down.
Right.
So
Right.
even if you did, like, well, when I first moved up here, I had an Amish guy helping me. His name was Mark Yoder. He milked cows, but he had to log in order to keep money coming in. He enjoyed milking cows for the family to have chores,
Right.
but that didn't make him any money.
No.
So yeah,
No, it's a crisis. It's really hard now.
yeah, it's getting bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and sometimes even for me, I mean, logging slows down for me sometimes. I get people that call me, but I get a lot of people that call me and I go look at their woods and it's,
Not enough there.
not enough there or whatever. So it slows down for me too, and sometimes money gets tight.
Right.
So
You got to be frugal.
yeah.
You got to be careful with your dollars.
Yep, absolutely. I got one full-time employee.
Okay.
His name is Patrick.
Okay.
Yep, and then I got a older fella. He's in his 60s. His name is Mike Wicke. He works part-time. He knows how to drive horses. So when I need him, like I do all the cutting, most of the time all the skidding.
Okay.
And if I need him, he'll come skid logs for me part-time.
Okay.
So yeah, but other than that, I got one full-time guy.
So do you skid then? You skid with logging arts then mostly?
Mostly, yep.
Sometimes you have to snake it out with just skidding on the ground.
On the ground. I've done it, but most of the time with the logging arch.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then
I know some people say get off the log arch and skid on the ground, but I think it's a little faster with the logging arch.
Yeah.
That winch actually helps quite a bit as far as on a cart.
you don't have to get as close to the log.
I can back up against a little tree,
Right.
and just winch it right to you. Almost works like a skidder. I put double hooks on it, and you can almost double hook and bring it right to you, and works like a skidder.
So backing it up to the tree anchors it.
Anchors it. Yep. And if you don't back up a tree, sometimes you pull something, it'll lift the tongue up and put it above the horses' heads. They don't like that. But
So is he charging the motor right now for that, or no?
um,
Or in other words, you do have to charge batteries.
yeah, we got to charge batteries for it. That is a downfall, but other than that, it works pretty good.
I mean,
So
6 to 1/2 dozen of the other. You don't dump gas in a motor and have it run.
yeah, and hear the motor run all day long.
Right.
So yeah, but the battery, if you it's got a release. So if you kind of run it like a skidder and don't make the battery make your logs go down, and you just pull up and you let them drop, and then you're just winching it up, your battery lasts quite a long time. But if you're constantly just winching it down, winching it up, it wears it out faster. But so you just.
So what's your arrangement with the landowner here? Can you tell me that?
I buy this, I pay him so much a cord, and I buy it by the truckload on the popple. And the reason why I do that is when I first moved up here, I would walk through the woods and scale everything and go ahead and pay him. But I was getting young popple that was hollow halfway up the tree.
Yeah, right.
Well, then I already paid for that tree. So then I was starting to lose money, and I was like, man, there's got to be a better way of this. So then I talked to a few people around here, and they were like, well, we buy it by the truckload. That way, if you cut it down and it's junk, it stays in the woods.
Right.
So whatever you bring out and whatever shipped to the mill, that's what you pay for. So popple, I buy it by the truckload, by the semi-load.
Do you mark the trees that you're going to take down? Does the landowner?
Nope, we walk the woods and
With the landowner?
with the landowner.
Okay.
And this he actually wants cut really hard because he's got a lot of young maple coming up in there.
Okay.
So he wants the popple pretty much gone.
He wants to regenerate the
Yep,
woods.
yep. He wants to get the hardwoods to take off. So a lot of times I don't mark the popple. We walk with landowners and I kind of tell them small stuff I don't take because it's too slow with horses. So I try to stay 10 inches and bigger on the popple.
Okay.
Sometimes I take smaller if I'm there.
Right.
But
Right. If it's handy.
if it's handy.
Right.
But other than that, I try to stay 10 inches and bigger.
I am able to do something that's low carbon emission. I could use animals that are lovely to be around. The work I'm going to be doing is the best work I can think of.
In my opinion, we're definitely at a critical moment that the work we do today will greatly affect tomorrow.
I don't use the horses because of the traditional aspect of it. I use them because they're the best. They're the most superior technique we've got to not damage the woods.
I used to have a winch on it, and it would lift them off the ground a little better, but I took it off. So now they don't.
Now you just have a place to hook the chain.
Yeah, it's a home. I made this one. It's homemade.
Yeah.
It was actually a lady in Missouri had it. I acquired it from her. It had a hitch that hung real low and like a fork cart.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
I just welded these plates on. I had a little winch here, and then you'd winch it up and hook your chains on these plates. But
So she had a receiver hitch down much lower.
down low and
Yeah,
used it
yeah.
as a fork cart.
Okay.
I put I put all this on here, the tree scrapers and this whole tongue setup.
Sure.
I did all that. So.
Okay. All right. And so you can cradle hitch with this, and you can still get
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of work done with this.
Oh,
Yeah. It's just releasing it is a little tricky.
Yep.
How do you do that?
you just
To back up and get it off.
that's the problem. The log drags the ground a little harder.
Yeah.
That's why I usually put 3 in it.
Sure.
But like I said, I actually quit using this for skidding, and I pulled the wagon, like the grapple wagon, with it. I don't even know where's the hitch at for that.
It's in the trailer.
I'll show you this hitch that I kind of made for it. Go get it, Pat. I designed a little hitch that slips in there that I hauled the trailers with.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Z hitch.
All right.
I'll show you.
Right. To get it lower.
To get it lower, and then a Z hitch, it comes out and it puts the weight under the axles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Smart.
So the way it don't tip the shafts up in the air.
Yeah, balance is pretty critical.
Oh,
Depending on
absolutely.
what you're doing. That's
Yeah.
something that people often
Because if you,
don't realize until they got something built,
Yeah.
and then they have to change it.
because if you just hung it off here and you had the weight of that wagon there full of logs,
Yeah.
I mean it just.
Right, they're slapping your
yeah.
horse in the head.
So I made this hitch up here,
Got-
and it slides in here, and it just changes that. It changes that point of.
Nice. Yep.
Ooh. Ooh. I like this. Bring your hook. Let's get this. Get it up a little closer. You see it? Yeah. Here. Hey, wow, these little chain hooks. These pole chain hooks save you a lot of time.
Yep.
Oh.
Good.
Well, this property has actually been in the family for quite a long time. It used to be, it was the original homestead of the family, and then it was kind of broke off percentage-wise as people owning percentages of each of the land. So
This
nobody
would be
owned.
descendants inheriting it, you
Yes.
mean?
Yep. In fact, when you came in, there's a barn. You see the barn up there by the house?
The Fieldstone
old-
Foundation?
Yep, the old foundation. My grandpa played in that barn when he was a boy.
Okay.
My great grandpa was part of the getting the road through Everett. If you go to the library, it talks about him. So it's been in the family for a while. Then it was split up to where everybody owned portions instead of just percentages. And then so we inherited this from my grandpa. So I'm half owner, and then my mother is the other owner.
And so you are asking David to do what here?
Try to clear all the popples and let more light into the vegetation instead of just choking it out. We've got a lot of maples in here and pretty small yet, being choked out by the popples. So we're clearing out the popples and trying to make for some better ground.
The rural American countryside is still filled with historic old barns built a century or more ago, but they won't be standing forever. To commemorate and capture the images and stories of the old barns, Ohio native Bob Kruger began painting and writing their histories, and that's all come together in a new book called Historic Barns of Ohio. You can get your copy by calling 877-647-2452 or visiting ruralheritage.com. It costs just $23.99 plus $7 shipping. Call 877-647-2452. This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.